experiences of ghosts and spirits are a being existing in the dark, some being possessing another disembodied being that has got very strong desires. They are slightly dangerous. Now the question is, are we to feel scared of them? People often bring up the topic of disembodied beings. They have experiences of ghosts and spirits. It ignites in them fears, apprehensions, worries and anxieties. Nobody wants to imagine doors opening by themselves or a being existing in the dark and talk about some being possessing another. That concept seems completely scary. So I thought I will shed light on this topic. There are different kinds of disembodied beings. The first is the bhoot. This is what we call in English the ghost. So, what is the bhoot? A soul, let us say, committed suicide in their previous life. Now, voluntarily, that soul rejected the gross body. So God says, as a punishment, for some time you will exist without a body. So the soul has two bodies still, the causal body and the subtle body, Karan Sharir and Sukshma Sharir, but no Sthul Sharir. So that is a ghost. Now the ghost or bhoot is in a state of distress, because its journey of transmigration has been temporarily halted. And that is why, as they say in Hindi, chhatpata gaya. So we are fearful of ghosts, but they themselves are in a state of great pain and misery. Once in a while, very rarely, they are able to possess somebody to fulfill their desires. But usually they are unable to do much. The next category is the pret. So a pret is a disembodied being that has got very strong desires. Now, because of excessive worldly desires, excessive sinful activities, that soul was given this state in its present life. Usually the pret is depicted even in the Western world as having a big stomach and a small little mouth. So the desires are immense and the ability to fulfill them are very tiny. These prets, they stay away from human beings. Usually. The third one, they are slightly dangerous. These are the pishach. So the pishach, they stay usually in cremation grounds and they feed on human energy. In fact, they even communicate with each other through a language which is called Paishachi. So they have got a higher level of powers. A Pishach would usually not come close to civilization. If it did, you would be able to detect by a foul smell. There's a fourth category called Vetal. So these Vetals, they stay also in cremation grounds, and they possess the dead bodies. In the Western world, they are called zombie. When a dead body seems to come to life. So its deterioration stops. Now the Vetal has entered it, taken possession of it. And then the fifth category is the Chudail. The Chudail is a female ghost. It is said that if the in-laws tormented the daughter-in-law too much, that daughter-in-law sometimes comes back to take revenge in the form of a Chudail. These Chudails, they reside invariably in trees, and that is why they are also called tree ghosts. Now the question is, are we to feel scared of them? Absolutely not. If somebody leads a proper life, stays away from intoxications, stays away from the lower kinds of addictions, there is no way that any of these disembodied beings can do any harm. By chance, if you happen to encounter any of them, you just chant the names of God. The power of God is so strong that these can do nothing at all. Nevertheless, it is out here in order to mention that when people get the experience of a ghost speaking to them or possessing them, 99% of the times it is only their mind that is playing tricks. Now somebody says, "Arey, Mohammedan ka ghost aa gaya." I imagine that person's, "Oh my God, what is my state of being," etc. When people come to me, I speak to them, I realize the tricks the mind is playing, and I point it out. Look, there is no ghost, no disembodied being. Your mind has created an apparition. Really, Swamiji? Yes. That is the problem when you give too much of weightage to your mind. Swamiji repeatedly says that consider the mind your enemy. Shri Maharaj Ji says, "Man ko mano shatru usaki sunahu jani kachu pyare." Look, don't listen to the mind, make the mind listen to you. So if you give the mind too much space, some people become schizophrenics. You know what is schizophrenia? You have a split personality. Sometimes you think I'm this, sometimes you think I'm this. All distortions created by the mind. So every time you have this suspicion of a ghost, first of all suspect the mischief of your own mind. Just in case there is a ghost, then what to do? Well, like I said, do bhakti, nothing will happen. Just chant the names of God. Some of the saints go to an even more elevated level. That is the case of Namdev. So for Namdev, it is said he was actually in the state of Jit Dekhu Tit Sham Mai Hai. He used to see God everywhere. Once he was eating and a dog came and picked out a roti from his plate. So the story goes that Namdev ran behind the dog with butter and he said, "Oh Shri Krishna, you are going to eat the sukhi roti, it will hurt your throat. Let me put butter on it so that your throat does not get pain." Now in that state, he used to reside close to the temple of Vitthal Bhagavan Pandurang in Pandharpur. And some of the community around, they wanted to test him. So they had come to know that a ghost used to reside in a well. And they said to him, "We'd like to test your faith. You go and get water from the well." Namdev said, "Now it is a question of defending faith in God's devotion. Why not?" So he approached, and the story goes that when he was throwing the bucket in, the ghost spoke up and said, "Don't you dare. I will not leave you if you take water from this well. I am the ghost of the well." And Namdev said, "Hey Pandurang Bhagwan, you have come to me in so many ways. Today you are speaking to me as a disembodied being in the well. You cannot fool me. I know very well who you are." He threw the bucket, and Pandurang Bhagavan himself appeared. The ghost disappeared. So, there are various Shaktis in this world. Some people ask me, "Swamiji, have you seen ghosts?" Before I came onto the spiritual path, I'll tell you of that time. I was in second year college and had this direct encounter. But that got me thinking. At that time, I had not yet read the Bhagavad Gita, and I encountered the disembodied being. I said, "Oh my God, this proves that there is the soul." So it proves that I am also the soul. And if I am the soul, not the body, it completely changes my perspective. Now, I have to understand, where did my soul come from? What is it a part of? What is my goal in life? And that episode pushed me on to becoming more philosophic. So, this topic we have discussed today, if you wish to hear it again, you can visit a recent YouTube video that has been released as a part of our 30-day Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism challenge, to coincide with the launch of the most recent book. Take advantage of this on the Radha Krishna Bhakti app, and I will be happy to take your questions for the rest of today's SMX session.